Okay, so let me go ahead and take a look at some problems on the lesson 12.1 assignment over prisms and cylinders. Number 1, it says find the lateral area of the prism. So this is a prism, and we know it's a prism because it has two bases that are separated by the height. Those two bases here, they are parallel and congruent to each other. So if I'm trying to find the lateral area, it is the perimeter of the base multiplied by the height of the prism. So we can see that these pentagons here are the bases of this prism because they are parallel and congruent to each other, separated by a height. That's the height right there. It's 5 inches. So P is the perimeter of the base, and H is the height of the prism. When you're talking about lateral area is basically all the faces except the two bases. So we're going to be ignoring the pentagons, but we actually do need the pentagons to figure out the lateral area, if that makes sense. Because lateral area is basically you're finding the area of all the faces except the two bases. Okay, so let's go ahead and find P. P is the perimeter of the base, and you're going to multiply that by the height of the prism. So we have a pentagon, which I cannot draw. Looks like this. And it has tick marks here. So all of these sides are congruent. And those sides are 4.5 inches each. So if it has 5 sides, and I'm trying to find the perimeter of the pentagon here, I can just simply do 4.5 times 5. So I'm going to get my calculator out right now. So 4.5 times 5, we got 22.5. That's the perimeter of this pentagon. So 22.5. And you multiply that by the height here, the height of the prism, so it's 5. So you do 22.5 times 5, and your answer is 112.5 square inches. And that's your answer for number 1. And then we can go ahead and take a look at number 3. So this is a prism. It's a triangular prism. How do I know it's a triangular prism? It's a prism because you have these two faces that are parallel and congruent to each other and separated by the height here. So I'm going to use my highlighters to show you that we're dealing with a triangular prism with the height being 2. And in the lateral area, again, you're trying to find the area of the faces except the two bases. And then this is S, that's the surface area. You're going to include the two bases. You need the area of both bases combined with your lateral area. So the lateral area is equal to the perimeter of your base multiplied by the height, and then the surface area is the lateral area plus the two bases, the area of the base. That's what the capital B is for. When you're trying to find the lateral area, you start off with the perimeter of the base, which is a right triangle with dimensions 4 feet and 3 feet. And since this is a right triangle, then I can safely say that this side here is 5 feet because it's a triple. Okay, so I have the perimeter. It's 3 plus 4 plus 5. That's going to be 12. So the perimeter is going to be 12, and you multiply that by the height of the prism, which is 2. So you're going to get 24 square feet. And the surface area is the lateral area plus the 2 bases, or the area of the base. So since the area of the base being a right triangle, well, I just do A equals 1/2 base times the height. The base of the triangle and the height of the triangle. So 1/2 of 3 times 4. So you can say that that's 6, because 1/2 of 4 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So I have 24 plus 12. You will get 36 square feet. Okay, so we just found the lateral area and the surface area for this problem. Okay, I need to go ahead and explain what the base here is for number 2, because for number 2, it tells you what you're going to be working with in terms of what's the base of the figure. I mean, all the faces are the bases of a rectangular prism. You can, choose your own adventure. But for this problem, the arrow shows you what the base is. It's the bottom. It's the bottom here. And also the top. So this is pointing at the bottom here. So find the lateral and the surface area. Alright, so, and then this one, the base is this bottom here, and also the top. And then it's a prism because it has these 2 bases here, separated by the height. And you can also say the same thing with this back side and the front side and the left side and the right side, because they're all separated by the height. But what this problem wants you to do is you're going to be working with these 2 bases here. Okay, so let's do this example. So the lateral area is equal to the perimeter times the height, and our base is a rectangle. So 2 inches, and then this is 6 inches, yeah? So 2 inches here, 6 inches here. So 12 plus 4, that's 16. So the perimeter is 16. Perimeter is 16. And this is the height. It separates the 2 bases here. So 16 times 4. 16 times 4 is 64 square inches. And then the surface area is the 64 plus the 2 times 12, or 6 times 2. Hold up 1 second. Let's see, 16 times 4 is 64, so that's the lateral area. And then the surface area is the lateral area plus the 2 bases. So that's going to be 2 times 12. Because the area of a rectangle is base times the height, right? So it's 6 times 2. So you're just replacing capital B with 12. So you have 64 plus 24, which will get you 88 square inches. And then let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 is dealing with a cylinder. It's like a prism. It has the same formulas. Lateral area. It has one face. It's this thing right here, this little curvy thing. Except when we're dealing with lateral areas, you don't include the 2 bases here. So it's the perimeter. So the lateral area is equal to the perimeter of the base multiplied by the height. But the perimeter of a circle, your circle is the base, of course, it's pi r squared. Or sorry, just kidding. 2 pi r. And you multiply that by the height. So the lateral area is equal to 2 pi 7. The radius is already given. It's 7 times the height, which is 16. So since we're dealing with all multiplication here, I can just say 2 times 7 times 16, which is 224 pi square feet. And then with the surface area, it's 224 pi plus 2 times the area of the base. The base is a circle, so we're going to find the area of the circle. Oops. I was trying to draw a circle, but I didn't do a good job doing that. Here we go. We have this circle has a radius of 7, right? So it's A equals pi r squared for this one. So you should have 49 pi. So 2 times 49 pi. Okay, so 224 pi plus 49 times 2 is 98 pi. And then we're going to combine the like terms here. So you get 322 pi square feet. That's number 5. Okay. You're going to do 6, and I'm going to do 7. A cylinder has a surface area of 256 pi square millimeters and a height of 8 millimeters. Find the diameter. Okay, so without me having to draw a cylinder, of course, we can look at these two pictures here for reference, but we know for sure that the base of a cylinder is a circle. So if it's dealing with a surface area of 256 pi square millimeters and a height, okay, well, the height is given and the surface area is given. So a cylinder's surface area, the surface area is going to equal to the perimeter times the height plus the 2 area of bases. The perimeter of a circle is, once again, 2 pi r. So I can say 256 pi, because the surface area is already given from the problem. It's equal to 2 pi rh. Right, so the perimeter is 2 pi r, and then the h is still there. Plus 2 times the area of the base. The area of a circle is the area of the base is just pi r squared. So I'll put pi r squared, therefore you get 2 pi r squared. Okay, so let's see how I can do this problem here. It's a little challenging, but on the right side of the equal sign, I can see that they both carry a 2 pi. Okay? They both carry a 2 pi. So I'm going to factor that out using the GCF. Factor by GCF. So 2 pi goes outside. And, I think I forgot something. Let me start over for 1 second. Let me start over. So forget what I just said, because the height is already given, right? And there's that little h. I should replace that. And then let me go ahead and multiply. So I have 256 pi, which is equal to 8 times 2. So I have 16 pi r plus 2 pi r squared. Okay, now that's much better. Now, this is where I am going to look at the right side of the equal sign here, and then I'm going to use the factoring by GCF, okay? So, what do these two things have in common? What do these two terms have in common? Well, I can factor a 2. So I can factor a 2, and they both have a pi. So I'm going to factor the pi out as well. And I'm going to say this right now, but do not factor the r out. We kind of need the r. Actually, we really do need the r. So leave the r's alone, and you will have 2 pi times the quantity, 8r plus just r squared. All right, so what do I do from here? Okay, so I have this times this quantity. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. And 256 pi divided by 2 pi, well, we know that the pi's do cancel. The pi's do cancel, so 256 divided by 2 is 128. So this is 128, which is equal to, and we can see that these 2 pi's cancel, so we have this left on the right side, that quantity there. And in fact, I'm going to rewrite it as r squared plus 8r. All right, and then now, okay, I see a number here, and I have something that looks like a quadratic-ish, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, if I subtract both sides by 128, I get r squared plus 8r minus 128, and this is where you're going to use the x method, and then you're going to figure out those two numbers, those two factors, and once you do that, remember, you're finding the diameter, okay? So I'll let that be an exercise for you to figure out. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look at some volume problems, and then I'll be done. Number 10. This is a prism, but you're dealing with a trapezoid as your base. So I would assume you would call this a trapezoidal prism. So if we're dealing with volume, the formula is going to be the area of the base multiplied by the height here. Again, you gotta identify what the shape of your base is. In this case, it's a trapezoid, right? So these two faces here are parallel and congruent to each other, and they are separated by a height. I'm going to use a highlighter to show that those two things are our bases. Okay, so the area of the base, that's what capital B is. So the base is a trapezoid, where the height of that trapezoid is 3 inches. And then the base of the trapezoid, the base of the trapezoid is 7 inches, and the other base is 15 inches. With a trapezoid, it's a quadrilateral where the parallel sides are the bases of that figure, okay? So to find the area of a trapezoid, it's V equals 1/2 the quantity B1 plus B2 times the height of your trapezoid here, multiplied by the height of the prism. Or I think this is a little too confusing, so I'm going to erase this and just say that the area of your trapezoid is 1/2 B1 plus B2 times the height of your trapezoid, okay? And then once you find the area of that trapezoid, you can replace B with that. So that's equal to 1/2. Base 1 is 7, base 2 will be 15, and then the height is 3. All right, so I'm going to use my calculator. And the area is going to be 33. Okay, so capital B is 33, so 33, and the height of the prism is just 12. So you get 396. cubic inches, because since we're dealing with volume, your unit must be cubed. And then number 9, I'll let that be an exercise for you to do. And then, let's see. Okay, so 11 and 12, again, you're using that formula. Volume is equal to the area of the base multiplied by the height of the prism. Let's take a look at this one. When it says find the volume of each prism, 16 goes under this thing. So 13, 14, 15, you're fine. 16, the problem is in words, okay? So you're dealing with a square prism with a base edge of 9.5 inches and height of 17 inches. Okay, so when you have a square prism, the base of the figure is just a square. And the base edge is 9.5. So if one side of a square is 9.5, then everything else is going to be 9.5. And what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find the volume, right? So the volume is equal to the area of the base multiplied by the height here. So I'm not trying to find the perimeter whatsoever, right? I'm trying to find the area of the base. So 9.5 times 9.5, or 9.5 squared. That's going to give you 90.25. And you multiply by the height of the prism, which is 17. And you should get this number here. Cubic inches. Okay, so there you go, number 16. All right. I hope this reduces your workload here. So, yeah. Make sure that if you have any questions, make sure that you attend tutoring, all right? So, see you later.